This is a win for India, where after Pahalgam attack, India was pushing for re-inclusion of Pakistan in FATF's grey list. And recently, FATF has warned Pakistan and has condemned the Pahalgam terror attack, which seems the road ahead, the way ahead in the direction that India was looking for to cut the funds of state-sponsored terrorism. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Simplified. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we are going to understand that why FATF has condemned Pakistan over Pahalgam terror attack. How does FATF operate? What are the grey and black lists associated with FATF and how it impacts, how it works against money laundering as well as funding related to terrorism. So let us begin with understanding the condemnation that has been done by FATF, and the key message that has been sent by this warning and condemnation of Pahalgam terror attack has been that this attack couldn't have occurred without substantial funding, and if this funding is coming from a particular source associated with a particular nation, herein which is Pakistan, then FATF condemns this particular attack. They also have been very clear that consider this as a global warning that terrorism is something that threatens societies all across the globe. It is not limited to a nation, and if one particular nation is promoting or if it's funding for its own agendas, it is going to come back and harm the global societies across. Now, when this message is sent out finally by FATF, they also have taken a call to action where they have decided to strengthen the counter-financing of terrorism. Now, this call to action has been specifically taken place so as to ensure that such frameworks, so there is countering of the financing that is happening for terrorism takes place and strong frameworks and mechanisms are established across the nations. Now, why it is being considered a diplomatic win or a win for India is that after the Pahalgam terror attack, India has been trying to work on the state-sponsored terrorism, especially sourcing from Pakistan, and there have been multiple diplomatic missions that have been sent across different countries and convincing and pushing for Pakistan to be included again in the grey list of FATF was one such measure as well. Now, this condemnation from this particular organization means that there is a clear recognition of association of Pakistan when we are talking about funding related to terrorism and state-sponsored terrorism, due to which we had to see the unfortunate terrorist attack on the tourist in Pahalgam. This attack happened on April 22 and 26 lives were taken. These were innocent people who had come to visit and enjoy Kashmir. They were tourists and these lives were taken. And the perpetrators, the culprits who had been identified, basically this attack was carried out by a Pakistan-based terrorist outfit group, and this has been since then mission from the Indian side in form of Operation Sindoor, in form of diplomatic missions that have been sent across to make sure that the funding, the source of funding and state-sponsored terrorism is cut out. Now, after this terrorist attack, finally now, this terrorist attack happened in April, and now on June 16th, FATF has finally strongly condemned this attack, and they have been very clear such a attack and the scale of this attack couldn't have been possible if there wasn't a proper funding associated with it. Now, on this very note, it becomes important for you to also understand what exactly is FATF and how it works. So, if we talk about FATF, it is nothing but a financial action task force. Now, when we are talking about financial action task force, what kind of financial actions they are taking? The financial actions that they are taking, they are against money laundering and any sort of terrorist financing. So they are fighting against money laundering and terrorism financing. This organization was established in 1989 and at present it is headquartered in Paris. Now, as the agenda of this particular organization is clear, how does it make sure that this monitoring and control of money laundering, combating money laundering and terrorism financing is controlled? Now, this particular organization monitors the implementation of their guidelines over 200 jurisdictions, and they also address all threats related to proliferation financing. For example, weapons of mass destruction. So, if any financing is relating or increasing the proliferation of missiles, of guns, they also look into that. Now, I hope we are clear with what exactly this particular organization is associated with it, what is their main role. Now, let us look into the efforts that have been taken by FATF to ensure that they are able to combat terror financing. So, one of the most important efforts have been the 10-year mission. Now, in this 10-year mission, they are focusing on tracking and disrupting all sorts of terror funding that is happening through financial intelligence. Now, how they are able to do it? They are focusing on financial intelligence associated with it. They are also monitoring the misuse of social media, crowdfunding and virtual assets which directly help terrorist groups. So, these efforts, these initiatives have been taken by, one of those important one is 10-year mission. Then FATF has also been focusing on a specific report which is going to come in a while, where it will release a comprehensive global analysis on how to understand terrorist financing terms in the past time, and this will help to make better initiative, make better efforts in coming times to understand as well as combat terrorist financing. Now, there is another very important highlight of the condemnation that has come from FATF, that they have been very clear that there needs to be a united global stand against terrorism, and we cannot fight this big problem if we are standing alone or if any country is standing alone. So, FATF president has been very clear that if the terrorists are working and they want to make an impact or attack, they will just have to succeed once. But if we want to stop them dead in their tracks, we have to succeed every time, and that is only possible when we are standing together. So, they have also highlighted that no single actor, here we are talking about organizations, individuals, countries, jurisdiction, they cannot fight terrorism alone, and they have called for international collaboration on this. On this note, I am going to end that how FATF has condemned the fact that Pakistan was involved in the Pahalgam terror attack. But now we also need to discuss that how this is associated with grey list and blacklist. So, FATF divides or has mainly two lists associated with them. They have grey list where they have increased monitoring of such countries where they find terrorist funding, and then they have blacklist. This is the list of those countries which have been non-cooperative. So, recently Pakistan came out of the grey list, but after this Pahalgam terror attack, as I said, India has been pushing for re-inclusion of Pakistan in grey list. So, my question from you is, do you really think that Pakistan deserves to be just in grey list? Rather, shouldn't they be part of the blacklist because of their repeated works which we have seen related to state-sponsored terrorism? Now, that was all from my side. Thank you so much.